The story of EBCLC is the story of action. In 1988, legal services came under vicious attack by the federal administration. A group of Berkeley law students decided that they were not going to wait around to earn their law degrees before doing something about this newfound and really critical gap in services. They believed in the power of learning by doing, and of impacting. So instead of just studying law, what if they could actually put the law to work to serve the community around them and effectuate justice at a time when communities of color were unequivocally under attack?
To see what the organization is now makes me incredibly happy. It's beyond our wildest dreams. We hoped that we might be able to someday afford 5 lawyers, maybe 7. We thought we might be able to get 20 students a semester. We thought we might be able to help dozens of clients at a time.
The East Bay Community Law Center, in its DNA and its founding, and very much because of how it came into being and how it's grown, has always been as interested in answering the question of why we need to provide the services and what legal services we could provide that will make an impact. We've been equally interested in the how we show up for clients, how we show up for communities, how we engage in this work in a way that is respectful, is excellent, and is compassionate.
Mari's story is really emblematic, or it really illustrates a lot of the issues that the young people we represent face. In Mari's situation, in that particular case, she was a new student in Oakland. She had just started at her high school a couple of days before. And in her first week at the school was facing a possible expulsion from school. She was arrested, and all of this was because she had gotten into a verbal altercation with a school security officer. Really, the untold story, though, however, in all of this was that Mari had been taunted by this officer for since she got to that campus. He'd made homophobic slurs towards her, and she finally reached a breaking point. But instead of focusing on, the harm that had been done to her or trying to get to the root of what was going on, the response was to call the police, to lead her away in front of her peers in handcuffs, to lock her up in a cell that was no bigger than a parking space. We'd represent her in any expulsion proceedings. We'd represent her in juvenile court, and we see that these systems are very connected. You can't do the work in a siloed way.
We are a high-volume legal service provider who engages in local and statewide policy advocacy on the one hand, and we are a very large clinical teaching component of Berkeley Law's clinical program and teaching mission. And that unique situation, the way I describe that is that we're like the teaching hospital for Berkeley Law. That model alone is partly why approaching this work from a holistic, collaborative, and multimodal methodology of doing the work makes sense for the Law Center, and also makes sense for advancing this idea that we have to address the many different pieces that contribute to injustice in order to promote justice.
When I think about all the folks that have helped us on this journey by teaching, collaborating, giving, I'm unbelievably grateful. There's a space for all of us in the fight against oppression and injustice. And the next generation of young people now, they're calling on all of us to act.